A very good evening, guys. Welcome to the Saturday Daily Pump Preview. As we do at this time on a Friday evening, it's around about 5 p.m. I've been having a look at Saturday's races. As ever, we'll be catching up with the TV races. 7 races tomorrow, 4 from Ascot, 3 from Haydock. As long as Haydock gets the go-ahead, there is a precautionary inspection there at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. The weather is expected to get considerably worse overnight. It's going to get down to around about -2, and they'll have had wet stuff on top of that as well. It's going to be deep going at Haydock if it goes ahead, and we'll start at Haydock with 3 races there. The first one being the 205, the Rossington Main Novices Hurdle Grade 2 event. Good race this. There are 3 on paper that look like they've got it between them. First Flow of Kim Bailey's, Lost in Translation of Colin Tizard's, and the bottom one, Waterlord of Donald McCain's, with doubts at the moment about the Kim Bailey yard and to a lesser extent the Colin Tizard yard. It does sort of lead me towards Waterlord, who has just looked at a different horse last couple of starts. 2 starts ago, beat a horse called the Linksman of Sam England's, a horse I like a lot, that is actually the Linksman. Once again in your trackers for when that goes over fences. The Linksman won half the track at Fakenham next time, and then over course and distance last time just galloped them into the ground in heavy ground. This is a race that Donald McCain does well in as well. He's had 3 runners in this over the past 5 years, I think, 5-6 years. He's had 3 runners, 2 of them have won, 1's played, so he likes to farm this race, and he won it with Cinders and Ashes back in 2012, so a good horse. With ground no problem, trip no problem, and the track no problem, I think I go with him over Lost in Translation. I hope Lost in Translation runs well, because I'm a big fan of Clement Taking Forgan, as readers of Betting Insiders that I write for know. He was one of my horses to follow this season, Clement Taking Forgan. I think he's a leading player in the Supreme, so I'm hoping for a good show from Lost in Translation. And First Flow, it's going to be hell for leather stuff. All 3 of them like to make the pace, so there's going to be no hiding place, but I just think that suits Waterlord. I think he'll make all here. Onto the 240, the Champion Hurdle Trial. If this is a Champion Hurdle Trial, I'm a Dutchman. The new one looking to make it 4 years in a row. This is his manner, isn't it? He just likes this race. This is a race that they get him ready for every year. His jumping this year, his jumping at Haydock has been suspicious, shall we say, a bit iffy on a couple of occasions when he's won these races. He's clattered a few out the ground in the home straight, but his jumping this year has actually been a little bit better. It's been less of an issue. It's still there. He always jumped half a panel out to the right all the time and clips the top, but it's not been a massive issue. He holds a fairly clear advantage over Chittibello. He's got to give Chittibello £6, and that sort of levels it up a little bit. And similarly, Klein as well, who'll like this ground, I think. From a betting perspective, not a race for me. I don't really want to get involved. The new one probably makes all again, and this is his coronation, as I say, 4 years, and then he's got Cheltenham coming up, and we don't know where he's going to rock up yet. Probably the stairs, I think, but he probably wins. From a betting perspective, it's a race I've no interest in, so I'm sort of happy to pass it over and have a look at the Peter Marsh instead, which is a little bit more interesting. There's a couple here. There's a couple here at prices I do quite like. There's a lot of the field you can give chances to. Plenty of them will like this heavy ground. Most of them, not all, but most will stay the trip absolutely fine. There's 1 or 2 that you sort of put the pan through because they're probably better at other tracks, and this might not be their thing, but you're still left with about 5 or 6 to choose from. I'm going to give my old friend Knock and Rawley one more go down the bottom off just 10 stone 4, because he just needs it like this. He needs it like a mud bath. He's an out and out stayer. I thought he ran okay last time. I thought he blew up a little bit actually in the home straight and then started running on again. The worry is the Kim Bailey yard. I've mentioned it before, which is why it's only going to be a small bet for me. But I can't let him go without some sort of a small investment on him. I think he'll probably take this in, and then hopefully he'll be heading towards the Midlands Grand National. I think that's probably going to be his thing, and hopefully the yard will be in better form then. But Fine Rightly as well is the other one that quite interests me here. The Crawford yard from Antrim coming over for the race. Great record in soft, heavy ground. I think that's the key to this horse. Will stay, no problem staying. Has had a couple of runs, I think, to put him right for this. I think he's got a chance at a big price. I wouldn't be ruling him out. He's going to be 16 to 1 plus tomorrow, and I quite like that. This has been won by outsiders in the past few years, so don't the likes of Samstown I think won it at a big price, and there was another one, I can't remember the other one as well now, but there's a couple that in recent years have won this at sort of big prices, so don't be afraid if you fancy one at a big price here. Over at Ascot, we've got 4 races on the TV, the first one of which is going to be the 150. This is the OLBG.com Mares Hurdle. OLBG again sponsoring the Mares Series this year, and well done to them. There's been some good races, good competitive races turned out for them, and this is another one. This is another really interesting little race, this, in which it's hard to completely put the pound through any of the 6. La Bagarre is going to be a short price for this, around about even money. She's got to give £4 to her rivals. The handicapper was really taken with that run at Kempton last time. She was a 140 horse going into it, and now he rates a 149. I'm just slightly less convinced than that she's a 149 horse. I'm more than happy to be proved wrong. But because of that, I wanted to look elsewhere. This is a race that's going to be run at a good pace. There's no particular sort of hold-up horse in this race, with the exception of Dusky Legend, and we'll come to Dusky Legend in a minute. This will be run at a decent pace. You've got Hither Jack's Lady, who likes to make the pace. You've got Midnight Tune, who likes to make the pace, and then you've got a couple of presses as well. Saint Lady Line will press it as well as La Bagarre. So this will be run at a decent clip. This, and there won't be any hiding place. At the prices, I've ended up. I'm going to have a little bet on Graceful Legend, who looks like a horse that's worth a go at 3 Mile. Certainly hasn't been stopping at the end of sort of 2.5 when she won a couple of starts back, and last time she bumped into a couple at Cheltenham. She bumped into an improving one of Dan Skelton's called Mamela, and in second was River Arrow of Tom Simons. Now again, those of you that take the Betting Insiders magazine will know that River Arrow was also one of my 5 to follow for the season, and I thought for a glorious moment we were going to land a 20 to 1 winner with her. I rate the front 2 there. I like that form. It's good form. The speed figure backs it up, and she does look like she's worth a go at 3 Mile. She'll sit just off them here, and I think she's been underestimated at around about 8 to 1. I think she arguably should be a couple of points shorter than that. So at 8 to 1, I'm going to take a small punt on Graceful Legend here. The other legend, Dusky Legend, is stepping up in trip, going the other way here. Now, she'll be the hold-up horse in the race. If she gets the trip, she'll have a decent chance, because I think the ground will be okay for her tomorrow. The ground at Ascot is going to be, I think, probably a little bit dead. They're going to be putting the covers down tonight. It's probably going to be a bit dead ground, and I think that'll be okay for Dusky Legend. But it does worry me that I can sort of see her travelling into it and perhaps not quite getting the trip as well as 1 or 2 of them do. So, as I say, the prices, it's going to be a little bit on Graceful Legend for me in that 150. 225, the Holloway's Handicap Hurdle. Again, for daily punt readers, this was covered off earlier in the week. We had an early look at this. The interesting 3, 4, arguably. Jenkins off of his new mark now, that's kicked in, but it's very interesting that Jenkins has just come right at the right time of the year, just as the big handicaps are coming up with the Betfair and the County Hurdle as well. I know this is 2-3, but I don't think Jenkins will have any problem dropping back to 2 Mile in the county, because it's always run at 1,000,000 miles an hour anyway. Early on in the season, Nicky was basically saying he couldn't see where a mark of 129, and I think he said he couldn't get it to 129. He couldn't see where the handicap was getting that mark from. Well, we got 143 for Jenkins today, but I think the blinkers last week it turned Jenkins into a different animal. Given his head and allowed to gallop from the front, obvious chance, and I certainly couldn't put you off if you fancied him. He's the right sort of price. If Ben Pauling's horses are in better form, I'd be all over Le Broy here, who I saw at Kempton in October, November time, finishing 5th to Bag's Groove, very keen on the front that day. Didn't run a bad race, all things considered, because I thought he was very fresh that day. He was quite fit, he was ready for that. And then second last time to Black Ivory, giving Black Ivory £1 and £5 in ground that would have been too soft. Ground will be better tomorrow, but the worry is the form of the yard. Some of their horses just are not finishing their race off, and that's got to be a major concern for me with Leroy, who will lead tomorrow as well. He and Knight of Sin, I think, look the most likely to probably lead these out. Should be run at a decent pace, and that's going to suit our old friend Man of Plenty here, who we are on. If you've followed me in earlier in the week, we're on 4 places at 33 to 1 with Bet365. Coral went 8 to 1 at the same time. As I said, the price probably lies somewhere between the two. Lo and behold, it's around about 16 tomorrow, which is the right sort of price for Man of Plenty. We know what the positives are with Man of Plenty, and we know the negatives. He'll travel like a dream into this. It's just what he finds off the bridle. One of these days he'll fall in one of these big handicaps. He just gets completely underestimated in them every single time. I don't know why. He's proven in big field handicaps time and again. He's proven in the grade. He gets his trip as well. I know a lot of his form is at 2 mile. He certainly gets 2-3, absolutely fine. It's all about what he finds off the bridle, and as long as he finds enough to get him in the frame, I'll be more than happy at 33 to 1 if we can get him in the 4. That's the key. On to the 3 o'clock this Bet365 handicap chase. It's over 2 mile 5 furlong. Don't like the race. I've tried to sort of go around it in my head. And I just, the bottom line with this is I just don't trust any of these, with the exception of Guitar Pete. And I think the handicap has probably got hold of him now as well. Again, a race that should be run at a decent pace, not too many hold-ups. The only one is Tenerife, but I'm struggling with Venetia's Yard as well. This is just one of those races that, as I say, I went round and I tried to sort of work it out in my head as to what was going to be happening, and the more I tried to work it out, I just kept coming up with different angles for it, and there's just too many I can give a chance to. Robinson will be an obvious one if you can put a clear around a jumping in and he doesn't blast the last out of the way like he does do at Ludlow. But a race I can happily pass over for betting purposes. And to a lesser extent, so too the Clarence House that follows, and so around about a sort of 4 to 7, 8 to 15 chance. Looks to have an excellent chance on the board. Won this for the last 2 years. Will be taking this in before he goes to the Ryanair. I think I sort of made the point last week that you can get 4 to 1 about him non-running a bet for the Ryanair, and I think that's a terrific price, because if he wins tomorrow here, and I think he will win, he'll get shortened up again. And if he doesn't win, and God forbid, something goes wrong and he doesn't rock up at Cheltenham, we're going to be getting our money back anyway. But I think he'll win tomorrow. Brain Power, good luck to you if you're on at the bigger prices. I know Lydia has not put it up in the road to Cheltenham last week, and she's absolutely spot on with what she was saying. But I couldn't be having him at 5 to 2. I really couldn't be backing him in counterfeit at that sort of price. He's only had the 2 starts, and I didn't know what to make of him last time at Kempton. There was a couple of sketchy ones. He's still learning. Of course, he's still learning, but he's got to take on under so here, and there won't be any hiding place. I have had last week a small each way investing on Speradek at 25 to be in the first 3. I get 5 to 1, so I'll get 5 to 1 a place. He was in the 3. He's got a couple home. I think he might finish third, because I'm not mad keen on Carl Morlock, who probably won't have his ground tomorrow. Has got a bit to prove now after Cheltenham when he had conditions in his favour. And San Benedetto, as lovely as San Benedetto is, he is a little bit of a weak finisher in this sort of grade. He'll come there and have his chance, and I'm hoping Speradek outgallops him for third, at worst third, really. So again, I've already had a small investment, and I wouldn't be advising that you get involved. If not, just watch the race, or, as I say, back under so non-running a bet for the Ryanair. There we go. Very best of luck. Best bet tomorrow, I think probably Waterlord in that Haydock race. As I say, I think with doubts about the other two, as far as trainer form goes, Waterlord's got plenty in his favour tomorrow. I think he'll go off favourite. He can get 9 to 4 at the moment. I think he probably goes off favourite tomorrow, and I hope he wins. Very best of luck with all your bets, guys. I'll be back on Tuesday with a weekend roundup. Thanks a lot.